All right, we starting to get back here.
Recording in progress.
Good to get the players back. I think it was important that they had a little time off, and then start getting ready for Chicago. A tough division game on the road. Play them twice in the next 4 weeks. So we're going to have to do a good job in preparation and get ready to go play.
All right, Andrew, followed by Chris.
Hey, Mike, with the team back in the intensive COVID protocols, I'm just curious, can you walk us through what that all entails? And then has that evolved at all over the course of the season in terms of what that has you guys doing?
Well, right now, everyone tests. Everyone has to test. Everyone has to wear masks in the building. We either have to do meetings virtually or in a big open, someplace that has enough room. Practices and walkthroughs are pretty much normal. Other than that,
Have those rules been pretty stagnant over the course of the year, or have they changed at all in terms of when you've had to be in these intensive protocols?
They did it after Thanksgiving. I think the week after Thanksgiving, everybody in the league had to do it. But yeah, pretty much based, I think the other teams that have been in it has had to do the same thing. I think somebody told me 7 teams that are in it right now.
Mike, with some offensive depth guys now on the COVID list, Alexander Madison yesterday, Dede Westbrook today. I mean, how do you, and Adam Thielen obviously is still coming off the sprained ankle. How do you feel about your offensive depth at some of those skill positions now?
Yeah, well, Smith Marset is a guy that he's been doing a nice job all year, so may have an opportunity here this week. We'll just see as the week goes on, but that's why we have so many guys on the practice squad, so they get ready to come up and if they have to play.
How about at running back, just with Kene? How do you feel about him? Potentially getting expanded carries, and I know you haven't seen Gallman yet, I guess, in a practice, but just your thoughts also on picking him up in terms of running back depth.
Yeah, well, he's a guy we liked it coming out of college, and he's had quite a few carries in the league. So we're glad that we have him. Kene is a guy that just continues to get more reps at practice every day, and hopefully he'll go out there and do some good things.
Joe, followed by Matt.
Yeah, Mike, with 4 games left and you got this little stretch run, you're starting to get a lot of your defensive players back healthy. Do you think this team is up for, knows what it has to do in order to get the playoffs and is up for it?
Yeah, well, Joe, we have to go out and play good every week. It's nice to get some of these guys back. We have to be detailed with the things that we're doing. Just talking to the players about these next 4 games, how important they are, and try to get on a roll here.
Mike, Justin Jefferson leads the NFL in explosive receptions since week 8. That was kind of when you were pushing toward getting the ball to him downfield more often. What do you think has worked in terms of getting him open downfield, despite the fact that opponents know that that's what you want to do?
Well, I think, first of all, when you're trying to get the ball down the field, your protection has to be pretty good. And so, for the most part, it has been. Kirk's done a nice job of getting him the football when he's had opportunities down the field. And obviously Justin's running great routes, but a lot of it comes off of a lot of these come off of play action.
All right, Dave, followed by Ben.
Mike, just wondering about Justin Fields and sort of what's your kind of initial assessment of having to play against him at this point in his rookie year?
Yeah, I haven't watched him a ton yet, but I know he's got a big arm, very athletic. I think he's been improving with each and every week. He obviously had a couple weeks where he was out, but he's got a big arm, does a nice job with his legs. So, I think they're using him well.
Mike, you talked late last week about kind of getting back to correcting a lot of the details and players kind of getting a full dose of it this week. Now that you're back at it, I guess, how does that take shape in terms of trying to get back to players executing a lot of the details a little bit better than they did last week?
Just staying hard on them. Just, making sure that we're demanding with what we're asking them to do and how we ask them to line up and where we want them to be. So, I think they heard me.
Jim, followed by Mark.
Hey, Coach. With all the COVID concerns going on, tonight's Wild game is scrapped because of people falling ill to the virus, and you guys have it lurking. How much is it in front of you day after day? Is there kind of a COVID fatigue setting in on your part, or do the guys just consider this another one of the obstacles of playing in the NFL right now?
Yeah, I think it's more of just one of the obstacles, it's, I know when I came in today, I get, yesterday I got text, this guy is positive. Today we had some positives. So it's just kind of trying to figure out, who's up next and where we go from here. But, every single morning, I'm going to get some kind of text, and it seems to be, worse right now. Maybe worse than it was last year at any point during the season to me, but I don't know.
Hey, Mike, I was just wondering, as you're trying to manufacture a pass rush without your top two edge rushers, you talk a little bit about the Thursday night, the 2 sacks in particular, the role that maybe Harrison played in Kendrick's sack, and the role that Kendricks and Barr played in Sheldon going unblocked off the edge.
It's hard for me to remember. Last Thursday,
like Harrison came up to the line and then he went back, and it looked like that was some confusion, which then you sent Kendricks and McKenzie Alexander up the middle, and then Sheldon went unblocked off the edge whenever you had the two.
Yeah, it's just trying to figure out which way they're turning the protection really, and sometimes we hit it right, and sometimes they blocked us up. I think once in the second half when we ran something similar to that. But it's trying to create some confusion for the offensive line as well, knowing who Typically, the offensive line has 4 down and one of the linebackers, and then the back has typically everybody else. So if you can figure out a way to bring some guys that they're not counting on, then you have good opportunities. So it has to be.
Is there more pressure on you to do that whenever you don't have a Daniil or an Everson that just kind of can beat people physically and do it the easy way?
Yeah, it'd be nice, but it's always honestly, Mark. It's we're doing that something like that every single week, whether we had Griff or Daniil, either one. But maybe there's times that you're more apt to do it because of if they've got time to throw the ball and things like that. I think is part of it.
Eric?
Hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you a little bit about a random guy on offense you mentioned last week, Blake Brandel. I know he doesn't play a lot, but you mentioned his role. How has he kind of grown into that role, and what kind of impact he's made in the last maybe 4 or 5 weeks?
I think the biggest thing with him is, he came in here, he's worked extremely hard. I don't know that anyone knew that he would make the team coming through training camp, and he did a great job in training camp. Has played very well in the preseason, and then with some of the guys that were out, we've been able to use him as an extra offensive lineman, and he's done a nice job in his role, not only protection, but in the run game as well.
And time for two more with Chris and Matt.
Yeah, Mike, we had a chance to talk to Armon Watts earlier today. What are some of the keys on why he's having such a solid season, and just your thoughts that he's been able to get 5 sacks this season from the nose tackle position?
Well, he's actually playing both spots, but I think he stayed here this summer. He worked out. Came back in really good shape. I think that was a starting point. And then Armon's very slithery. He's good with his hands, and he has some acceleration in order to get to the quarterback. So I feel like he's developed really well. I think Andre's done a nice job with him, and he continues to improve.
Mike, it seems like every week there's sort of a new debate over coach deciding to go for 2, and fourth downs. Coaches have been more aggressive. I just wonder if you have any observations about how the league has changed, maybe with coach decision making, and if you have sort of changed your own thinking because coaches are being more aggressive.
Yeah, I do think people are going for it more on fourth down. In my opinion, it's still it's really easy for analytics to say you should do this or you should do that when they don't really know who's playing for the other team or what your strength of your team is, or so on and so forth. But for us, it's really a belief that this is the right time, this is the right situation. And at the end of the day, you have to have belief within your, in your gut that you're either going to make it, or I think if you don't make it, you can give your team a chance to lose the game. Now, so I think it's really important, the situation, who you're playing, the score of the game, the strength of your team. I mean, there's so many different variables that numbers don't tell you. But I do think that a lot more people are a lot more aggressive now, and we talk about it every week about fourth down situations, and when we would go for it, and try to do a good job of defending those things as well. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.